You know, there are some songs that just get under your skin. They feel like they've been around forever, but also like they were written this morning. Bob Dylan's A Hard Rain's a Gonna Fall is 100% one of those songs. It's this epic 6-minute journey that people have been trying to figure out for decades. So today, let's do just that. We're going to deconstruct this masterpiece and see what makes it tick. Right? This is the big one. It's the question everyone asks. Is it some kind of prophecy? Is it a protest anthem? Or is it literally about the end of the world? Well, we're going to peel back the layers and get right to the heart of what Dylan was building with this incredible piece of music. So where do you even start with a song this huge? Well, for most people, the first stop, and it's a totally understandable one, is the bomb. I mean, you have to remember when this came out. We're talking the peak of the Cold War, right on the heels of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The title alone, Hard Rain, just screams nuclear fallout. The whole song is just dripping with this feeling of dread, of catastrophe. So yeah, that reading makes a ton of sense as a starting point. But here's the thing, if you stop there, you're missing the real magic of the song. What's so cool is how it works as what you might call a crisis lyric. It's not just about the fear of nuclear war, it's about the feeling of dread itself. It captures that terrifying sense that all these different crises are happening at once. And this is the real kicker. Dylan himself kind of pushed back on that idea, saying it wasn't just about fallout. He said all those images came from stuff he'd actually seen or read about. And that's our cue, right? That tells us we've got to look deeper, beyond the mushroom cloud, and into the real human suffering the song is showing us. And once you start looking closer, you realize this song isn't so much about some abstract end-of-the-world scenario. No, it's about a very real, very human world filled with pain. See, Dylan isn't just giving us vague feelings of doom. He hits you with these incredibly sharp, almost painful images, like this one, a newborn baby, the ultimate symbol of innocence, completely surrounded by predators. It's just a raw picture of total vulnerability. And he just keeps going. This one, man, it's another brutal snapshot of lost innocence, a heartbreakingly specific little scene of grief, and the end of something beautiful and pure. Okay, now this line, this is where things take a turn. It's a huge shift, because the song moves from these individual moments of suffering to something bigger, something systemic. We're not talking about one single bad guy here. We're talking about a system where awful things happen, but you can't point the finger at anyone. The cruelty is just baked right in. And there's a name for this. It's institutional violence. The whole song is basically a list of these kinds of harms, poverty, injustice, you name it, that aren't just caused by one person, but by the systems we live in. That hidden executioner, it's not a person, it's the system itself. So you've got all this modern dread, all this institutional violence. How in the world do you fit that into a single song? Well, this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Dylan didn't invent some newfangled structure. He reached back, way back. It turns out the song's real power comes from this amazing tension between the old and the new. He took this ancient folk song format and just poured all the anxieties and shocks of the modern world into it. It's that mashup of old and new that gives the song such a timeless, heavy feel. I mean, just look at this. It's almost a carbon copy. A Hard Rain lifts its question and answer format directly from Lord Randal, an old ballad about a mother questioning her son who's been poisoned. Dylan borrows that familiar, almost ritualistic back and forth, and it gives his very modern fears this deep historical echo. It's brilliant. Okay, so he's borrowed the structure, this ancient Q&A, but what he does inside that structure is a total game changer. Because unlike Lord Randal, which tells a clear story, this song, well, it doesn't really tell a story at all. And that's a really crucial distinction to make. Hard Rain isn't a movie with a beginning, middle, and end. It's more like a photo collage from a nightmare. Its power comes from accumulation. It just keeps piling these unforgettable images on top of each other until you're left with this overwhelming picture of a world on the edge. I mean, let's just take this one famous line. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. What on earth does that even mean? It's this image that just gets stuck in your head, and it sort of demands that you try to figure it out. And that is exactly the point. You could read a line like that a dozen different ways, couldn't you? Is it about wasted wealth? A kind of spiritual emptiness where we have all this amazing stuff but no soul? Maybe it's about the broken promises of society. Or maybe it's even a vision of a world after we're all gone. All of those meanings can be true at the exact same time. And this is so important to get. This isn't lazy or vague writing, it's a deliberate choice. Dylan is using ambiguity as his main tool. He creates these images that are so rich, they're like prisms, you know? They break the light into all these different meanings. And by doing that, he's inviting us, the listeners, to get in there and help make sense of it all. So after all this darkness, all this horror and confusion, you'd think the song would just leave us there, right? In despair. But it doesn't. Not even close. It builds to this incredibly powerful conclusion, and that's where we find the real heart of the song. For 5 straight verses, the speaker has just been a reporter, cataloging everything he's seen and heard. He's been a passive observer. But in that very last stanza, everything changes. The observer makes a vow. He decides to act. And just look at the verbs he uses here. This is a promise. It's a commitment. He's going to go back out into that darkness. He's going to tell it, speak it, think it. He's even going to breathe it. It's not just a story anymore. It's his entire life. And this really is the song's ultimate message. It's about the ethics of being a witness. What the song is saying is that once you've truly seen suffering, you can't just unsee it. You can't just turn away. You now have a responsibility to tell the story, to make sure it's not forgotten. It's not just a warning, it's a call to action. And that, of course, brings it all back to us, doesn't it? The song is over 60 years old, but wow, it feels like it could have been written yesterday. Its ideas about crisis, hidden power, and that profound call to witness, it's never felt more relevant. So in a world where we're flooded with information, the question Dylan leaves us with is, what does it mean for us to be a witness? And what are we going to do about what we see?